the Giants 40. Fredrickson all by himself. Cuts back beautifully.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. I've seen a couple articles out there, like what the odds were for the teams winning the NFC East. And boy, I'll tell you what, the Cowboys were certainly the favorites. I'd seen they're a plus 105. Redskins are a plus 275. The Giants are a plus 450. The Eagles are a plus 500. Now, I can see the Eagles, being in last place. That one kind of makes sense. But, I mean, boy, you gotta, just think, the division last year, the Giants were 6-10. Cowboys went up 6-10. Redskins were 7-9. Eagles were 4-11-1. Now, just suppose, all right, just suppose the Eagles decided to play some football and not wuss out on the last weekend of the season. Or, not that the Eagles wussed out, their coach wussed out, all right, and maybe that's why he's not there anymore. Just suppose they decided to keep Jalen Hurts in there and play, and say they won. They had been 5-10-1. The Giants would have been 6-10. The Cowboys would have been 6-10. The Redskins would have been 6-10. That's a pretty even division. So, just because Dak is coming back. To make them the favorites, all right, I'll play along. But every team has got their question marks. We know with the Giants let Kevin Zeitler go, and they didn't re-sign their captain Dalvin Tomlinson. Other than that, the Giants added some weapons. Not so much on the offensive line, which is where the question is. And the question is, can Daniel Jones, make that the next step, take a little leap forward, because he's going to have to do that this year. But if you get Saquon back, we got some weapons. We added to the defense. The defense was very good. The defense should be a top 10 defense this year. But the Giants got their question marks. Obviously, the offensive line and Daniel Jones. But, every team's got their question marks. The Cowboys are no exception. Their defense was absolutely horrible last year. To their credit, the Cowboys, their first 6 draft picks this year were all on the defensive side, and I think they got the best defensive player in the whole draft with Micah Parsons. But I said their defense was absolutely horrible last year. Realizing half the games, 8 of the games, the defense gave up 33 or more points. Absolutely horrible. One point they were 3-9. Do you realize when they were 3-9, they beat the Falcons on a last-second field goal, and the only way they got that was when they kicked the onside kick and the ball was spinning, and the whole Atlanta Falcon team was just staring at the ball spinning as it finally went 10 yards. The whole Atlanta Falcon team is, wow, look at that ball spin. And of course the Cowboys jumped on it after it went 10 yards, and then they kicked Zerline kicked the last-second field goal to beat the Falcons. And then, of course, they beat the Giants on a last-second field goal. They had to kick 2 field goals in the last 2 minutes of the game to beat the Giants. And, of course, the Giants shot themselves in the foot when they had, 1 or 2 touchdowns taken away because of penalties. So the Giants easily could have won that game. And then they beat the Vikings. Andy Dalton had to complete a 2 or 3 yard touchdown pass with a minute and a half to go to beat the Vikings. Or I'll tell you what, the Cowboys could have almost been 0-12 at one point last year. But when Dak was in there, he was only 1-3. As I said, let's see what it looks like when he comes back. That's a tough injury to come back from. When Lawrence Taylor snapped Joe Theismann's leg, Joe Theismann never played another down. So let's see what Dak looks like when he comes back. But as I said, they got some question marks too. You got Van Der Esch. He might be one more injury away from having to retire. Right? They did get Micah Parsons. But, on their offensive line. Tyrone Smith, I think he played 2 games last year. Fredericks, the center, he's retired. Collins, he was out the whole season last year. Even Zach Martin, he missed some time last year. So I mean, so their offensive line, which was supposed to be, which is at times was obviously maybe the best in all of football, is getting a little old. Starting to show little signs of wear and tear. Some of the guys aren't playing the whole season, so they better hope and pray that some of these guys come back and can play, or it might be a long season for Dak. And also let's go to Zeke. Last year he averaged 4 yards a carry. That's the worst yards per carry he's had in his career. So his rookie season he averaged 5.1 yards a carry. Last year he's down to 4 yards a carry. Almost every year his yards per carry gets worse and worse and worse and worse. He wasn't doing a lot of this last year. I didn't see a lot of that last year. All right? And you also realize between his receptions and his rushes, between college and in the pros, I think he's going to be 26 this year. Okay? He's had over 2,300 carries and receptions between college and pros. That's a lot. That's a lot of touches. And he's only 26. I mean, most guys, I don't care who you are going to start breaking down. You're going to start getting a little slower. All right, that's a lot of carries, a lot of touches. That's a lot of, a lot of punishment. So, let's see what Dak looks like when he comes back. All right, so the Cowboys got they got a lot of questions. I said their defense was absolutely horrible last year. Now, just throwing a whole bunch of rookies onto the defensive side, is that going to instantly turn them around? Probably not. And Mike McCarthy, I'm not too sold on him as a coach, but we'll see. Then we go to the Redskins. Now the Redskins, their defense is absolutely phenomenal. All right, but their offense last year was like the third. They averaged 4.8 yards per play, which was the third worst in the league. They had 27 turnovers last year, which was the fourth worst in the league. The quarterback play was not very good. Alex Smith was 5-1, which is, he averaged 66% completion. He was 5-1, but I don't know if they won because of him or despite him or what. I mean, in those 6 games he started, he threw 6 touchdown passes and he threw 8 interceptions. It's kind of tough to win ball games that way. I mean, if he's going to do that for the whole season. Now this year they got Ryan Fitzmagic. I tell you what, I love that guy. He can play on my team anytime. Maybe not so much as our starter, where we're depending on him to take us to the title. But have that guy on the sideline, have him coming off the bench. I'll take him any day of the week. The problem is with him is, he's a gunslinger. He'll throw it. I mean, he'll throw you touchdowns. He'll throw you interceptions. He'll throw you into a game. He'll throw you out of a game. If the Redskins had a quarterback, they could be pretty darn scary. I mean, look what they did in the draft this year. And they got Dyami Brown, wide receiver from North Carolina. Then they also got Curtis Samuel. So they added a couple weapons. They lost Williams, their tackle, to San Francisco. But they got Samuel Cosme from Texas. Very good tackle. But then they also got Jamin Davis, right, the linebacker. They got a couple cornerbacks. They got William Jackson. And then in the draft, they got Benjamin St. Justy. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So they added some weapons on both sides of the ball. So, unless you believe in superstitions, meaning that nobody's repeated as a champion in the NFC East since 2004, unless you believe in superstitions, I mean, I'd have to put the Redskins right up there. I mean, The Cowboys are a plus 105, and the Redskins are plus 275. I mean, I'd have to put the Redskins defense is just going to be really good, really good. And, their offense should get a little bit better. It can't get much worse. I mean, it was they were 7-9, and as bad as their offense, almost kind of like with the Giants, as bad as the Giants' offense was last year, and it was bad. But the Giants averaged even more yards per play than the Redskins did. I'm saying the Giants' offense was bad last year, and they were still 6-10, and they were 5-3 in the final 8 games. So if their offense can get better this year, and because it really can't get any worse, their defense should be just as good as it was last year. The Giants should be, certainly should be better. I mean, you're looking at a lot of teams. I want to say 8-8, but of course we're playing 17 games this year, so you're looking at 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10-7 between the Cowboys, Redskins, or Giants. One of those 3 teams. Then you got the Eagles. Now the Eagles last year, I said the last game of the season, if they decided to play some football, if the coach let them play some football, all right, instead of going for a draft pick. The Eagles could have easily been like 5-10-1 at the end of the season, and that's with like a rookie quarterback in there. But I'm not so sold on that Jalen Hurts. Unless their new head coach Nick Sirianni, I don't know a heck of a lot about him. But we'll have to wait and see what he brings to the table. Jalen Hurts, that last game when they playing against Redskins, it was the Redskins. Redskins make a lot of teams look bad. But again, it was 7 out of 20 for 72 yards. He had 1 interception. I think he got sacked 1 time. He just did not look really, really that good. He only completed like 52% of his passes for the season. He threw 6 touchdowns. He threw 4 interceptions. Their defense was giving up last year was giving up over 26 points a game. Their offense averaged about a little over 20 points a game. So they're going to definitely have to, they got DeVonta Smith, so got to give them that. They helped their offensive line out, so that's good. Because their offensive line's starting to get a little older. Jason Kelsey was the only offensive lineman last year to play all 16 games, but he's getting old. All right, Johnson, he missed some time. Peters, I think he's like 38 or 39. I'm not even sure if they even signed him anymore. But their offensive line needs to be improved. As I said, their defense. Their defense needs to be improved too. So I'm interested to see what Nick Sirianni is going to do with the Eagles. But with Jalen Hurts, their defense needs help. Their offensive line, it is certainly good, but it's getting older and it certainly needs some help. I can certainly see the Eagles being in last place, but this is going to be very, very interesting. Every game. It's like a lot of times you just throw the records out. Any team can beat any team. You know that. The Giants actually beat the Cowboys last year. They actually beat the Eagles last year, and of course they beat the Redskins twice. I think they seem to do that almost every year. But they beat the Cowboys and the Eagles last year, and they easily, if they had any kind of luck, they could have won all 6 games. If Ingram caught that one ball against the Eagles right here, and just nah, not today. I already got a Pro Bowl. I don't need to catch this pass, right? If he caught that ball, we would have beat the Eagles, right, and we would have won the division. But you know how it is. You throw the records out. Any team can beat any team on any day. Especially in the NFC East. Nobody's going to run away with this division. I said, whoever wins it might have 10 wins. You're looking at maybe a 10-7 team. Because a lot of it's just going to be like, they're just going to start knocking each other off. Whoever's in last place might have, 6 wins. The winner might have 10 wins. So it's going to be relatively close. It won't be like a division that a team has like, 13 or 14 wins, and the last place team is like the Jaguars, who are like 1-16 or something like that. Not going to be like that. It's going to be very, very close. But I can certainly see where the Eagles will be in last place. But I mean, just to give the Cowboys, I guess that's what it is. I guess they're giving the Cowboys the division because Dak is coming back. Well, we'll see. But the Giants, they got the Giants at a plus 450. I think that's way off. I mean, once again, the Giants are getting no love from the press, from Vegas, from like nobody. Nobody's giving us any credit whatsoever. But I mean, the Giants should definitely be their odds should be a little bit better than 450, plus 450. But once again, man, I can't wait for the kickoff. I can't wait for September to get here. It should be another wonderful season. But we'll see. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!